That's hot. Yeah, I'm already heading to work. Well, actually, heading to work about a couple hours.
A whole merry horde of them. Red, hot, Zed. You got schooled! Yeah, I'm in the zone, people. You don't get through me. You don't get through me.
This sounds still kind of messed
This one's to me.
up.
Mrs. Foster presents her introductions. You don't get through me. Bye, bye, bye. Aperitif se serve. Position. Oh, you feeling a little burnt by me? Slash. Blimey. This one's tenacious. You don't. Ooh. You don't get through me. Aperitif se.
Hmm. Anyways. Hmm. We're gonna talk about what happened yesterday. Nothing really happened yesterday. Just
Anyone getting low? Coming out the floor. This one's tenacious. He can't. This is. Did I pique your interest?
but yeah, there's this. Uh, still a bit of. It's not even drama. It's just personality stuff with this, with work and that.
Am I?
Oh, it's like back and forth bullshit. It all has to do with the girl I work with and that. It's fucking priceless.
What do we have here? Gasbound, see it? Mrs. Foster presents her introductions. Mrs. Foster? Something done right.
But I mean, it's just like clash of personality,
Ammo, if
that.
you want it.
Like, it's honestly all about mindset. It's really weird though. Like, it's just completely mindset.
Anyone getting low? These Zeds are cloaked. Such accuracy, Mrs. Foster. How can you do it? Oh, get in! Looks like markets are about to open. Mrs. Foster, what are you doing? This one's tenacious. You're dead! Did I pique your interest? You got schooled!
But yeah, it's just a lot of bullshit drama.
Welcome to Gloucester in a shower of rain.
It's always funny learning psychology and that with people and that, like why they are the way they are. Like some people legitimately,
Aperitifs are served.
like when you talk to somebody, like some people legitimately just do not like specific styles of people. Yeah, it becomes like really quite hilarious actually. Like there's some people just do not like. They basically aim for perfection, even though they're not perfectionate. Like it's really fucking weird. Like I understand certain things and that, but like the way people like people and that nowadays, especially if they're like culturalized through TikTok and through like celebrities and shit, it gets to that point where you just they don't know what a real person is. And it's really interesting. And I think like people should be all the same. Alright. People that think that they're models and that and all that crap and that they like have this modeling like base thing that like I want to be a model and stuff and that. Okay, why? The honest truth is,
Ammo, if you want it.
you're in the service industry with your body.
There's something close. Whoops, a daisy. Don't get through me. Bye.
You're selling your body for money, which is like retarded.
This one's tenacious.
And I get it why people do that shit.
Get through. You don't get through me. And she's back.
Like I get it, but like I don't know, the real world is so much fucking different than what people are putting on to. Especially when they're young. Like people are getting less and less intelligent about the real world.
The floor. Aperitifs are served.
And that's what makes it really funny.
You don't get through me. Excuse you. You're dead. Mrs. Foster, what are you doing? There, my pretty bird.
And that fire burns me much. You get that.
You don't get through me.
You get that after this.
You got schooled. Oh, you're feeling a little burnt by me. You're dead. There, my pretty bird.
The sound quality is so bad in this.
You don't get through me. Acquaintance. Listen, heal thyself.
I could try to teach like what style of life that you live in is what life that you want. So if you live in a certain style of life to where you demand to be, you know, like as perfection as you can possibly be, or think that you are, that's the kind of life you're gonna have in some way. Or you're gonna try to think that's what your life is. It's like, I always think about like, this is why we need God.
The more the merrier. Mrs. Foster presents her introductions. That's a siren. Mrs. Foster, what are that's happening? You don't get through me. Pleased to make your acquaintance.
Because we're guided like crap. Like, we have such bad guiders in that.
Mummy loves money.
It was like, oh, we got these inspirational people in that, you know, like Dwayne Johnson, or, you know, all these celebrities, people listen, a lot of guys listen to Andrew Tate. Fuck Andrew Tate. Fuck Dwayne Johnson. They're human beings.
You don't get through me.
You know, they don't mean anything, honestly. They're just people that sold their souls for fucking currency.
Whatever. You don't get through me.
And people would say, oh no, they never did.
Mrs. Foster presents her
It was like, yeah. No one gets that wealthy, for real. Unless they're trying to help people, not destroy people. Like, making money's not bad. It's what you do with your money. I mean, I guess it'd be how you make your money too, but no. A lot of people work at places like I work at. You know, they work at normal jobs. They make just enough, you know, scratch to be able to just save up a little bit, maybe buy some somewhat of luxury shit. Or take advantage of certain things like holidays and that. Like right now, I'm getting paid overtime for today. I'm about ready to go in soon. And stay in all day. Probably get a 10-hour shift in. Make me about $200. Oh.
This one's tenacious. Mrs. Foster from Rouge. Red, hot, Z. Anyone getting low? Oh, you feeling a little burnt by me? That'll put some fire in your belly. Mrs.
Oh, come on.
Foster went to Gloucester in a shower of rain. I'm in the mood to buy today. You're dead. There, my pretty bird. Yes!
I hate these little fat dudes.
Aperitifs are served. You got schooled. If you insult me, keep it off me.
God, he's such a dick. Okay.
Ammo, if you want it.
Mm, what is that? Just like
Rain, rain, go away.
what the fuck is it talking about?
And she's back.
They talk about lifestyles and personalities. But yeah, it's how you grow up. So if you grow up in specific ways and that and you lived your life like that way, you're always gonna be that way to a certain extent. Especially if you get catered to it really heavily. It becomes actually quite amazing to to dig into people's minds and why they act a certain way.
You don't. Anyone getting low? That's a siren. You don't get through me. Did I pique your interest? Mrs. Foster doesn't miss those. Oh, get in. That's a flashbound. You don't get through me. You don't get through me. Mrs. Foster, we have ourselves a scrape. Bye. This one's tenacious. Scrape. You don't hide. My eyes. You got schooled. Red, hot, Z. Physician, heal the blood. It's bad.
Ah. Oops. Yeah, I love the 50 cal so much. 50 cal probably is the strongest gun in the game. That's how I get really far with the survivalist.
Ammo, if you want it.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna get the battle side.
On a shower of rain.
Battle side is fucking astounding. The extra range is amazing. It's double
You don't
range.
get through
So
me.
sweet. But yeah, it's just very interesting to look at people's personalities and that. And how people like do things in their life. You're always wondering like why this. Some people. Oh man, I need to walk around a little bit. You move around. Oh, hi puppy. How's your baby? What you doing? Good girl. Mm. We'll go outside. We'll go outside. Yeah. But yeah, I always find it quite hilarious when you, or maybe not hilarious, but informing to think about how people work. You know, like for instance, one of the girls who works in a psychology class. I'm talking about psychology, and her teacher's retarded. Literally, like people, teachers from colleges that are complete brain dead idiots. They follow what science gives them, not what actual experience gives them, unless they actually went through experience. I would say, okay, it's like I would love to debate, a psychology major. And someone's like, oh yeah, I've been taking psychology for like 5 years or whatever, or whatever the fuck it is. Like, okay, what's the main focus of a human being? And they would always be like, well, goals in that. I'm like, God. They wouldn't even know because that's based upon actual psychology. God is the giver of your life. So psychologically, you have to follow what your creator has gave you. And people say, well, you might think that's enslavement. It's not enslavement because you get free will because of it. Your purpose in life is to follow what's planned for you, not what's been given to you by humans, like culture. That's why you see people that walk alone. Why do people walk alone? Because they're supposed to walk alone. As in, they don't have a lot of friends. They don't have a lot of people because they're not part of the culture. That back then, just say being rather intelligent and knowing stuff gave you great, responsibility. People go to you and be like, answer my questions, because I don't know. That's why they become preachers, like the ones back in the past. In the Bible, they were preachers. They gave the wisdom that they got from God. And people, don't want to track anything back to the Lord because they don't know, because our culture nowadays is literally turned upside down. Literally, I know kids, 16 to like 20 years old, I call them kids because, I'm old now. They rely on nicotine vapes. Back when I was younger, not many people smoked. People smoking that, but they knew it wasn't that good for them. Nowadays, everybody does it. And because it's very interesting, you start seeing like intelligence drop. You start seeing the complaining goes up. You start seeing the cultural like dependency goes up. Like, oh, that's not cool. That's cool. Let's say, well, that guy's hot. I have to date a guy like that, or that girl's hot to date a girl like that. I said, whoa, whoa, whoa. It's like, I get that. Especially when it comes down to relations, which is like, the main thing that I research. It comes down to this. If you don't follow your heart, you will never get your desire. So we break that down. Your heart, or what you feel towards someone, is the actual thing that you want, is that feeling. Not what you see necessarily or what you hear necessarily. You can have attraction towards someone and they still might not be the perfect identity that you want. But for some reason you're attracted to them. It's your body react, it's your central nervous system with your heart, you know, and your vibe, the energy that you have all together, because our vibe is technically, it's little electronic sparks that flow out of you when your mood changes or when you feel like you're in love and that you change, you feel different. It actually changes the chemistry of your body altogether. Just like saying, like, if you were always happy, you never had anything bad happen to you, so to speak, unless it was hardship, like you knew you had to do it, you would always be super disciplined, super devoted to yourself. Like, yeah, I know I have to get a job, you get a job. I know I have to work 40 hours a week, but I also know I have to relax and recover myself. So you do that. Some people are like, well, I don't want to work. I want to sit at home and do nothing. So what's the purpose of you living then if you don't want to do nothing? You have no purpose. And that's what it comes down to. What is the purpose of living? Well, it's a plan. As soon as you're born in your mother's womb, you instantly have a plan. Your whole life's already scheduled for you. Every little thing that you do is planned by God. Now, how you change it, that depends on you. You are a sinner. You do have free will. If you didn't have free will, you'd be like the angels. You couldn't do nothing. You'd be 100% devoted to your creator. God gave us free will and say, do with what you want, but I will always be there for you. What kind of father wouldn't be there for their children? I know feminists be like, oh, what if God's a woman? Why would God create man first and then woman second? No one cares about your feminists. Feminism is the worst thing in the world that actually transformed women into whores, into sluts. Like, oh, I'm independent. That you can be independent. You have the age of being independent. But instinctually, you want kids. They all do. But they all want to wait. I want to get my career. I want to do something like you can. You don't need a career. What do you need to go to college for? Most people go to college, but it's been proven nowadays, get no jobs. No one wants to hire them. Is that because they don't? Not because, so to speak, they're not intelligent. They're stupid intelligence. They know bare minimum of what reality gives them. People go to college and they're like, oh man, I could be this specific thing. I could be this, and be this, and be this, and be this. And it's just like, okay, be that. But what's the experience behind that? Most of it comes down to social interactions. If you don't have the confidence to socialize with other human beings because you're stuck on your phone all day, texting and screenshot your face on Snapchat and that, doing the filters and that, you live in what you call a fake alternate reality. And it's been proven, it's been documentaries on this and stuff and that about people obsessing about their pictures. And they make money off of it. Well, the whole point of to live life, at least at that standard of moment, is to secure your financials. Well, fuck, if you don't do anything except for take pictures of you looking pretty in that, you got it going. But what does that do to your mind? It dilutes you with too much dopamine, and you become satisfied with that reality. So when you walk out to the reward, just go shopping that, and someone's just like a friend from high school and that, or someone that hasn't seen you in a while, like, oh, hey, how you doing that? You'd be dumbfounded. First thing they'll probably say is, yes, I'm going from a woman's perspective. They'll probably ask you, oh, do you know me and that I'm popular now? And the person will be like, it's like people like in like late 20s, early 30s, like, Yeah, I guess. I don't know you like that, but I just remember seeing you from school, and that's what they had in that. To check out my page. You can get to know me on my page. Literally, no conversation at all. I gotta read your fucking bio, bitch. It's like I'm sitting right next to you talking to you and that. Well, I don't talk to people in real life. I'm only on my computer and that. Yes, this does happen. You can make your reality whatever it wants, but what the ground you stand on, the air you breathe, the things you touch and see and hear and smell and taste, that's reality. Behind a computer or a camera, that's not reality. It's an alternate reality. You can act like whoever you want to. As long as it's an act, people will be like, oh wow, if I meet this person in real life, that'd be great. No, they're probably horrible people, or they are good people in that they just live that lifestyle because it's easy money. Sometimes shit happens, they get lucky enough to do it. So when you look back before the internet, before cell phones, so to speak, before cameras and that, like, you know, streaming cameras and shit, web cameras, you live in a reality. So to be able to meet people, you got to go over to that place and meet them. You go to work. You meet people at work. That's how most people meet. They meet at work. They meet at pools. They meet at bars. They meet at places around their area and that. And people are strange, like, well, how do I meet people? Nowadays, they're like, oh, I gotta go online, go on date sites. Yeah, I go on a date site just to click on a whole bunch of random good looking girls and that live like, I don't know, 30, say like 30 minutes or less away from me. See who takes me. See who wants to be curious enough to be like, oh hey, how you doing? Fucking none of them do. Barely 99% of these girls don't even care because they're like, well, you got to match this perfect physique type shit. And literally, and they put this out there, but like if they ever met this person in person, they would see the actual person themselves, not the pictures, because pictures don't really show the true beauty of someone because they could be shot in many different ways. You have to take 4 or 5 pictures and then basically you have to do a video. You have to animate it for people to see the whole angles of you. Because not everyone looks good from one angle. Because our noses are shaped like that. You do front pictures and that, everybody looks fucking ugly. But if you do a side picture, you look better from a side picture than from a straight picture. Why? Because the straight picture shows, you know, the front side of you. Doesn't show the side of you. Or if your body's not in frame and that, you don't have your body in frame, they can't even tell. They'll look at your face and that. It's like fat chicks. They always show like the shoulder up. They're fat. They never want to show their bodies off. And that's what they do. Like, oh, I want to show my shoulders up. Because you can't see their stomach. And the stomach itself, from what I already knew, but still going going through myself, losing weight and that, your stomach is your main priority of sexual interaction. I don't think a lot of people know that. When your stomach's tight, or as a man, you got abs and that, you got, a skinny stomach and that shows a lot of sexual interaction. Everybody knows that. The stomach is, the part that is the most driven part. It's a sex symbol. Obviously, other things are too, but like, how I see that when I see a woman's stomach and that, it's a very, if she's a specific, fat ratio, it looks sexy. It looks very arousing. Same thing with men and that. But going back to what I was talking about, but people fixate on that so much, they don't want anything else but that. And I'm always looking at my personality now and looking at how, interactions with people through their mindset and that could be perfect, but they have certain things that are not perfect or what they desire. And I always tell people, if you want something, you can forge something. Men are very easy to forge. They always will be easy to forge. Weight loss is not difficult. It's just the knowledge of it takes time to learn it. Like for instance, if you move more and eat less, you'll lose weight. It's that simple. People want to argue like, oh, what about the protein and take all something? Eat your body weight in protein, or eat 90% of your body weight in protein. If you just want to lose weight, eat 90% in protein, your body weight, and then eat your carbs in that. Eat carbs and protein very much the same way. If you have to eat 180 grams, you have to eat 200 grams a day in protein. Let's say, based on my standard, 190. Well, you times it by 4. That equals up the calories that you have. So it'd be 400, and you got 90 times 4, which is what, 360. So that's 760 calories. My daily dose of calories in a deficit is probably like 1,500 or 1,600. Well, fuck, I'm half there. That's without moving. That's just the normal daily energy cost, just being awake. That's not even moving. We'll say, like, if I walk, the other day I did 18,000 steps, close to 20,000 steps. Okay, well, I can multiple, the steps in that. Say I did 700 calories burned by moving. I was already in a mass deficit to begin with, because I go by how I feel. And these are the things with life. It's all about how you feel. So, when you fall in love with someone, you fall in love with the bad and the good. Nowadays, people just want the good and no bad. And they get what these dumb TikTok women, what they say, the X. Like, I get the X easy. I'm like, what the fuck does that even mean? Well, in their terminology, they get disgusted over certain things that are not so-called perfection, like a mole on their back or something like that. They don't accept people for everything. And I like to tell people that have that sort of personality that I say, well, like what might give that guy the ick or the disliking of you? And these people, the people that are like this, what they say? Well, I'm everything's good on me. And then if you saw them butt ass naked and you really looked at them in all different angles and that, you're like, oh well, this side's uneven to this side. Your face is a little too skinny in that. You start identifying that, and the reality kicks in. They're like, there's no way. They look in the mirror for 5 hours. Yeah. So when you want to aim for what you think is perfection, there's no such thing. And we were never meant to be perfect. We could be great. We could be established. We can have beautiful bodies. We're meant to be beautiful. But we always have flaws. It's like, yeah, not everyone's farts fucking smell the same, basically. They all fucking stink, but there's always different smells. Why? Because not everyone's the same. That's how you have to look at life. Life is like a gigantic fart. Sometimes it smells different, But the inside of life comes down to realizing what your purpose is. Well, your God gives you purpose. He loves you. Jesus loves you. Holy Spirit's there to guide you, to protect you. And you have to go forward with it. When you see a girl, like, I went to the Buffalo Wings. I saw one of the girls there. She was good looking. I really liked the way she looked in that. And she had a big, huge butt on her and that. She had more like thicker legs and like she did a lot of squats in that. She was beautiful. If I looked at her for all the girls that I've seen, is she the most beautiful one? No. I mean, in some retrospect, no, but yeah, it doesn't matter. First thing I looked at, which is the truth, is the body. The face structure never really mattered too much. The body could look great and look very nice. The face doesn't have to look, but face is just a regional, way of you looking altogether. Like wherever you're born from, you look that specific way. But the body can always be forged to look all the same. You might have taller, longer abs or smaller abs or whatever it is. But for people to get to that way, it shows dedication. If you show dedication, you show a little bit of discipline. Now, sometimes does it make you smart? Fuck no, it doesn't. Some people are just really fucking stupid. They're like, man, I'm sexy. I'm like, okay, cool. But their brains are up their asses. Brain ass is disgusting. And you're fumigating. You're what they call toxic. Now, when I hear like women talk about toxic masculinity, I talk about masculine bitches. It's like I think it's the other way around. I think women are toxic masculinity and men are just masculine. Toxic means a poison, right? That means negative. You're a negative. Well, if a woman's not being a feminine woman, they're being masculine. That means that they're a toxic masculinity. They're poisoning themselves with masculinity when they don't need it. So any girl or whatever says that dumb shit to a man, I'd be like, well, you're the one that's masculine. I'm supposed to be masculine because I'm a man. You're supposed to be feminine. So why the fuck are you masculine? That sounds like you're poisoning yourself with masculinity. That you're trying to be a man. Hence why you don't like masculine men. You like feminine men. But you never want to date feminine men. You only want to hang out with feminine men. See how it works? Gay people know this very well. Gay people have a lot of girlfriends. The thing is, they're not attracted to them. Well, the funny thing is, the women are attracted to them. So what happens? Literally, from researching that and talking to gay people and that, they say a lot of the girls always want to do gay guys. Say why? Because they think that we're like the perfect man for them because you don't want to do nothing with them. That's how it works. It blows my mind. When you don't want to do it, they want you more. It is fucking hilarious. So next time you go around a girl and that, you're trying to pick her up and that, you say all your stuff and that, don't. From a man's perspective, don't. Women live off of this shit. It's based upon a huge amount of psychology, especially certain types in that. Oh my god, it matters. Yes, you don't see a fucking, you might see a really hot girl that like take pictures with a fat rich dude. That dude ain't getting no damn pussy. Hell no. That's factually true. As girls get older and get more desperate, I know I'm talking about the woman's psychology. That's like the funnest thing to talk about, honestly. When women get desperate, they always want to look for anybody. It's like, I don't care. It's like, I'm getting old. I gotta have someone to stay with and live with. And it means that they made past mistakes. I always tell people, like, especially younger generation, you can have a boyfriend or girlfriend and still have a career. You just have someone with you. You have someone with you to talk to, someone to interact with you, someone to push you to be better. So when you're negative, they be positive, or when your partner's positive, say the man's negative, the woman gets to be positive. You're supposed to work together, and that's what it is. No one wants that anymore. They're like, they want to be driven by their career. Cool. Career sounds like career anyway. People want to devote themselves to that, and I say, okay, that's cool. Do that. But don't take too long waiting because time ticks down very quickly for everybody. And I'm 34 years old and I'm trying to get in the best shape of my life, and it's happening. I'm dropping weight, I'm getting more toner, more muscular, and getting, thicker in the shoulders or whatever the fuck it is. I'm becoming the man that I choose to be. This is what I like to be. I enjoy it. I enjoy lifting weights and that. But say like a woman at my age, they can't start all over because their mindset's already to that point. That's why body count matters. Your emotional psychology matters. I talk to any young women in that, they sit there and they're like, it's like, I can't fall in love with a guy again. I'm like, okay, how many guys have you fell in love with though? How many guys have you had intimacy with? If they're gonna tell the truth, or they're gonna lie about it. It's like, oh, have you been like from ages like high school, so when you start getting interaction, say you're like 16 to 20, 4 years, you say you've been with 5 or 6 dudes that you had intimacy with, and some of them were just, you know, it just happened. It just happened. Okay. Well, when it comes down to it, that's why you're like that. There's reasons behind everything. It, I I don't see the point. Like I tell people, don't care about the interactions of sex. Sex is very powerful. Love making is extremely powerful emotion. And when you give yourself to someone just because you want to get a stimulant out of it, basically, you get off on it, it actually fucks with your mind so much. Because first off, you have to have some type of emotional connection with them to be able to get comfortable enough to have that intimacy anyway. And if you are a whore, which I've seen a lot, and basically, you know, been with quite a few of them in my time. Didn't do any actual interactions, intimacy in that because I was strong willed it and I had self control and I didn't want to do it. It still is in my mind. I still remember all the girls that came over my house. All the girls I got really close to doing stuff like this, like quite a few. And like it just couldn't happen. They were, butt ass naked women and that, gorgeous, big boobs and that, all the good stuff and that. But the interaction wasn't there. And I always thought to myself, why? Any other man would look at a girl like that and be like, wow, she's hot. Her tits are fat, nipples are nice and that, blah, blah, blah. That's the trick. It's not because I didn't want to, it's because I couldn't. I couldn't. My mind was unable to fixate on something that I actually enjoy as a man. I couldn't. And it's because I didn't love them. I didn't see them as love. Right there's that ticker. You get guilty over people you have intimacy with or say sex with because you're not in love with them. You don't see, you're not fully into it because it's a comfort. And this is what happens to people that just fall down the lust line of just having stimulation. They don't care about the person they're doing. They have no respect for them. That's what we call a pump and dump, or a cum dumpster, or man eater, or whatever it is. Like they just want that desire that they're fixated about. Exactly, it's a fixation. It becomes really fucking awesome when you look at the psychology of a fixation person. You know, it becomes a point you're just like, why are they so fixated on that? Because their minds always want that simulation of love. But when they get to it, and they finally get to it, and they fall in love with the person, and they legitimately like that person, they don't want it anymore. And you have to ask why. Because they're so scared of being broken that they don't understand that they're the ones breaking it. They're the ones breaking themselves. It's fascinating. It's like you fall in love with someone that, and like they want to be loyal and that they want to give their devotion, and all of a sudden they see another guy that's like just like it doesn't even matter how hot you are. It doesn't matter about that. They just see a new guy. So what guys call like me new pussy. It's new. You haven't been in it before. So what do? You get more excited about it. You don't want the fuck the same girl over and over again. And you get used to it. Our human minds get used to something. That's why we have to build up a tolerance, self control. Space is the key to excitement. It's like if you want to, see your girlfriend or boyfriend, for instance, and you're like, man, I really want to see this person, you know, and you really want to see this person. What happens when you see them? You're super excited. Imagine if you always saw them, you never saw them. You'd be like, oh, hey, honey, how you doing? There would be that the excitement would drop down If you did have intercourse with them, you'd be dropped down to nothing. You'd be like, oh yeah. But you know what happens is if they say like you go on a trip or something and like you're hanging out with your friends and that, and she's at home and she has her girlfriends over and that. Maybe the mailman or two, you know. It can't be that long. Maybe like a couple of days or like that. When you come back, guess what happens? The anxiety builds up. You start thinking about that person. It's like, man, it's like I miss my girlfriend. That's what it is. I miss that person, which means you're having anxiety in a good way, and you want to fall in love again. You're like, man, I really love this girl. I really want to see her now. It's like going to work and see a really hot chick, for instance, that you work with, or someone that you're really attracted to. When you see them at work, you're excited. When you want to see them after work, you're like, I saw you all day. Then what happens when you go home and you're hanging out with yourself for multiple hours and that, and you fall asleep, and you wake up the next morning and that, say like the person doesn't come into like 1 or 2, and you come in a little bit earlier than that, and you're like, guess what happens? You ponder about seeing that person. You look outside and wait for that car to come, and that's what you do because the idea in your head is, I can't wait to see her or him. And once you see them, you get all excited again. Life starts all over again. It feels fantastic. Imagine if you're like living with them, you constantly saw them that. The only time you ever have space is when you're sleeping. So if you sleep, you wake up, you're like, no, she looks beautiful again, the kind of thing. Wake up, she's laying next to you, she's sleeping like a baby or whatever it is. You look over, you look at her and that, maybe take a couple peeks at her ass or something like that, or whatever the fuck that it is. Grab a titty or two. You're all like, man, I ain't gonna lie, I miss this. You get up, you make breakfast and that. She wakes up half fucking naked and that, and she, gives you a kiss, grabs your nuts and that. Go on your happy ass day. Maybe you'll get a little nookie or something like that, and you're all happy going to work. You got golden glow and that. You're fonzing it up, hey, kind of thing, and that, pointing fingers at everybody like you're fucking, I don't know, being a dumbass. I wasn't gonna know. So yeah, well, I guess you banged. Her. I guess that's the trick of it. She's someone coming in and a little too fucking happy. Their dopamine's through the fucking roof. It's because they probably got laid, or they just had one of those days. They're just like, I feel great today. I'm gonna wake up and get my shit together. So, keeping yourself busy, doing things every single day, because next day is a gift. God said it. Jesus said it in the Bible. And that. Don't worry about the next day, because you don't know what's gonna happen. As soon as you close your eyes, your reality ends until you open your eyes, and then your reality begins. It's very interesting psychology like that. Like psychologically, that's how it works. Because when you're sleeping, you're not in the physical realm anymore. You're in a spiritual realm. That's why your mind connects to God. That's why you have dreams. Oh no, don't tell scientists that, because scientists don't know where dreams come from. Dreams come from the conscious of what you're worried about. So when you have dreams, you give your worries to the Heavenly Father, and He gives you images back to dictate how you're thinking. And He gives you little bits of what? Little bits of wisdom with it. He tells you in a certain way how to say, you're jealous of this. He'll give you an image in a dream. Psychologically, you're freaking fuck, I just had a brain fart. You're conscious in that will tell you. Say like, for instance, if you're jealous of someone in that, your mind will have dreams about that. Like, oh man, I don't want this person doing this and doing that, doing this, doing that. And what happens in, for how I've noticed that God gives you information about it and gives you a tip saying you are a jealous person. Don't be. Because it's not true. Your mind is making this up because of what you think, not what you know. That's what it is. It becomes strictly amazing. It's not what you think, it's what you know. You can think what you want to think. But if you don't know it, then more or less likely it's just a thought. It's not reality. You know, that's one of the dreams I had. I get a little jealous over certain things like that, but I don't know stuff. A lot of people do, especially if it's with someone that I deeply care about or say I'm in love with. My reality looks at me and like, okay, well, you know what you like as a person, so you drive yourself towards it. Once you drive yourself towards it, you kind of see how things work. It becomes very interesting because then you start to like, you start fixating about it. You start having dreams about it. You start pulling yourself together about it. I know. You know that person may not know or may do know. Do they feel the same? No or yes. That's what it is. You don't know. And that's the fixations that we have. Our minds always go to the best part first. It's like a movie. You skip to the best part, you get all excited about it, and all of a sudden, it's like, oh, it's done. It's only been 15 minutes of a movie. Well, you skipped an hour and 15 minutes of it. That's how your mind actually works. You always want to go to the good part, which is normally like interactions. Hugging, touching, fucking, all the good stuff like that. But anyway, I need to take a dump, and I will be back on later today, maybe. You guys have a good one. Bye.